Joined in the studio by Be Real and Sandog from Cypress Hill. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for coming by, dudes. Very, very appreciated. Rise Up, of course, doing really well. It actually, I don't want to give too much away, but it will be in Fearless 5 at 5 later on this afternoon.
Well, all right.
Top 5 songs of the day. And Rise Up, it's got Tom Morello on guitar, and I know you guys have done a lot of work with Rage Against the Machine. How did this come together?
This one came about as I was on tour with Tom doing his Night Watchman thing, and he happened to ask me what we were up to, me and Be Real, and I said, we're making a new album now. This was a couple years ago, and his exact words were like, I think I got one for you guys. And immediately we got out the van, I called Be Real, like, hey, Morello's got a song for us. So sent it down, and then when we heard it, when he had sent it, we heard it, we loved it, and jumped all over it. And I had just been waiting all this time to do something with him, and it came this time, and we were able to make it happen, and we got 2 really great songs from him. So we're really happy with the production and how those songs came out.
Well, it's good to hear more of you guys, man. It's very appreciated. Sandog, Be Real in the studio, and it's not just you guys compilating on the album and stuff. You're actually going on Jimmy Kimmel and performing like big compilation stuff too, right?
Yeah, we have a Jimmy Kimmel performance slated for the 19th of this month, where Tom will join us, and we're gonna get up there on the outdoor stage and jam out a few songs. So we're looking forward to that. Anytime you get a chance to jam with Tom Morello live on stage, and all the energy that he puts off is incredible, and you almost feel like you're superhuman at times.
Well, at this stage in your career, man, like you guys have influenced so many people. Do you find it a lot easier to bring fellow musicians and stuff into the studio with you? Is it a lot easier at this point?
Yeah, I mean, we've developed relationships with all the guys that we went after. As for this record, we'd been friends with them for quite a while, with the exception of maybe 1 or 2 that like Jim Johnson. We didn't really know Jim previously. We had heard about him and heard a lot of his work, but we didn't really know him. So he was the only one that was like really, the new presence in the fold. But man, he came through with 2 banging tracks. But to go back to the original point was, yeah, I mean, it makes it easier when you know these guys, because you understand what they're about and they understand what you're about musically, conceptually, and if you got a good vibe and a good chemistry to make in the music, it makes it that much easier. And usually when you're friends with the guys you're making music with, it usually comes out really cool. So we were fortunate to have the other producers actually be friends of ours for quite a while, and they get what Cypress Hill is and who we are, so it made it easier for them to figure out what to give us, what to make for us.
That's so cool, man. Anybody tuning in, we got Be Real, we got Sandog in the studio. Now, we're talking about doing different things. You guys have been involved in video games since like back in '99.
Yeah.
And then when Grand Theft Auto San Andreas came out, How Could I Just Kill a Man seemed to like explode all over again. Is there plans to do more stuff like that in the future for you guys?
Well, was it last year? We have a song of the John Madden game, the football game. And every time some opportunity like that comes along, if it's the right game, and they want something from us, we'll do it. It's a good way to market yourself, aside from selling CDs and doing shows and whatnot. As we know, a lot of these video games sell a lot of units, so to have a song on one of those is a big deal, And usually you're accompanied by a lot of good bands and hip hoppers that are also on those games. So we're not against that at all.
We got Sandog and Be Real in the studio. Now, you guys have been involved, particularly you, Sandog, you're involved with medical marijuana usage and compassion clubs, correct?
Both of us.
Both of us were. I only found one about you, so I didn't want to misquote anybody or anything. So, when you guys are at the stage you are, do you really feel like it's a responsibility to really champion causes that you believe in personally?
I'll let Dr. Green Thumb handle that one.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's been a part of who we are since day one. Even since before we were making records, we pretty much were High Times fans, reading the articles as well as looking at the centerfolds, which were the big buds and stuff like that. But when you grow up reading those magazines, you pretty much attach yourself to the cause, because you get what it is, and you see the point that the people that have been rallying for legalization, you see their point, and if you agree with it, you want to contribute and you want to try to, bring more light to it. And we were in a unique position of being a band who actually read High Times and believed in some of the stuff they were saying, to talk about it, where nobody else was. And so all these years later, now that you see that the medical marijuana legislation has been put in place in like 17 states, and they're getting ready to put it on the ballot in November in California to legalize, you see that the awareness that groups like Cypress Hill and Red and Meth and the Cottonmouth Kings and various other groups have put out all this information through different songs, or maybe through some of the concerts we've played. We've all contributed in some form or another. Snoop Dogg as well. And I think because of that, it opened people's, it opened people up to have a different opinion of it than what they had maybe, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, they're more open to it now than they were then, but that's because they were educated by people who knew what they were talking about, as opposed to the government who and oil companies and cigarette companies who made up a bunch of stuff to,
William Randolph Hearst, we're looking in your direction.
Yeah, to throw bad light on it so that people will always have that negative label on it. But that label has been stripped away, and it's good to see that there's been so much progress in these last 10, 15 years.
Dudes, I could sit here and talk to you guys forever, but we gotta play some music. We're gonna play "Insane in the Brain," and I've always wondered, when you guys were putting this song together, did you have any clue that it would be? This is like a generational anthem. I've seen this one song on like 30 or 40 different albums. Like, when you recorded it, we're like, "That's the one. That's it right there."
We did not know, man. I mean, we were just. When the record company wanted to put that out as the single, I thought they were crazy. I'm like, oh, really? I knew it was a good song for the album, but I didn't know that it would be the single, that really blew it out the water for us. And fortunately, hey, I could say that I was wrong and ate my words, and I was glad to be wrong on that one. So, but we knew it was a great song. We didn't know it was a single great song, and we got to thank the people for, finding something about that song that we didn't see.
Well, thank you very much for everything. Thank you, Sendog. Thank you, Be Real, for coming by the show. Very appreciated, guys.
Right on. Thank you for having us.